A burdei or bordei is a type of half-dugout shelter, somewhat between a sod house and a log cabin. This style is native to the Carpathian Mountains and forest steppes of Eastern Europe. History: Neolithic. In the Uknown culture, burdei houses were characterized by elliptical shapes. These houses would typically have a wooden floor that was about 1.5 meters below ground, which would place the roof at just above ground level. Early Middle Ages, the term used by Western historians for burdei-type housing on the lower Danube and in the Carpathians during the 6th–7th centuries AD, is Grubenhaus. Poluzemlyanki is used by Russian researchers. The Russian term refers to a structure partially dug into the ground, often less than 1 meter deep. The Grubenhaus was erected over a rectangular pit, ranging in size from 4 square meters to 25 square meters of floor area. During the 6th and 7th centuries, the sunken buildings east and south of the Carpathians were under 15 square meters in floor surface. The building experiment consisted of 2 houses, which were exact replicas of 2 sunken buildings excavated on the site, one of the late 6th or early 7th century, the other of the 9th. The 6th to 7th century feature was relatively large and deep. The excavation of the rectangular pit represented some 15 cubic meters of earth. The excavation, as well as other, more complex, operations, such as binding horizontal sticks on the truss or felling and transport of trees, required a minimum of 2 persons. The building of the house took 860 hours, which included the felling of trees for rafters and the overall preparation of the wood. Building the actual house required 2.2 cubic meters of wood. In itself, the superstructure swallowed 2 cubic meters of wood. 3 to 4 cubic meters of clay were necessary for daubing the walls, and reeds harvested from some 1,000 square meters for the covering of the superstructure. Assuming 60 to 70 working hours per week and a lot more experience and skills for the early medieval builders, the house may have been built in 3 to 4 weeks. 59 Florin Curta, Eastern Europe. In countries like Romania, the burdei was built to constitute a permanent housing place and could accommodate a whole family. Thus, a Romanian burdei could have multiple rooms, typically a fire room where the stove was installed, a cellar, and a living room. North America. This type of shelter was created by many of the earliest Ukrainian Canadian settlers as their first home in Canada at the end of the 19th century. The first step was to peel back and save the sod, then excavate the earth to a depth of approximately a meter. A poplar roof frame was then created, over which the saved sod would be laid. Then a window, a door, a wood stove, and a bed platform would be installed. A typical burdei measured no more than 2 by 4 meters. The burdei was a temporary refuge until a proper home of poplar logs and mud, straw plaster could be built. Mennonites from Imperial Russia settled in the Hillsborough region of Kansas, and also built burdeis as temporary shelters. This type of shelter was also called a zemlyanka or a sarage. The March 20, 1875, issue of the national weekly newspaper Frank Leslie's illustrated newspaper described the structures as the quaint brand new village of Nadanow, where there are some 20 small farmers who have built the queerest and most comfortable cheap houses ever seen in the West, and with the least amount of timber, being merely a skeleton roof built on the ground and thatched with prairie grass. They serve for man and beast, being divided on the inside by a partition of adobe.